he's giving us wonderful insights into these characters with just the most blunt descriptions.
But he's
where it's
also
like,
a Redditor because he said "mehaps." Like what?
oh no! Hang on, and go to his art. Go to his art. He does have the hat. He's got the hat and the tip.
He has the hat.
My lady.
Welcome to Casuals of Runeterra, episode 122. I'm your host Ryan, here with the other host Edge.
And have we got a fun one for you? And I'm not just saying it this time, like this is a new one for us. But
yeah.
But we'll get into that. You know, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, new experience for us, but the old experience of housekeeping will never change. It will never, always up top. You can listen to us everywhere.
If the housekeeping's not at top, something's wrong. Call the authorities. We need help.
Yeah, it's an AI generated episode. If there's no, that's how you tell. It's our watermark.
Oh, that got me.
You can listen to us everywhere. Visit us at podcastcore.com for all of our info. So that's podcastcore, that's COR.com. You can email us at podcastcore@gmail.com. Follow us on all the platforms. We appreciate it, especially Threads. We just made that account. And then leave a like and a comment. We want to hear from you. But the easiest way is always word of mouth. Tell a friend to take matters into their own hands by listening to the Casuals of Runeterra podcast.
Oh, and let's talk about some people who take matters into their own hands today. And what's another Vayne episode?
Yeah, we got a third one for you. And this is sort of a bonus episode. So if you've gotten this far and you don't want more Vayne shenanigans, then you can skip it. We understand. But what we're doing this episode is what we've mentioned before, is in Runeterra, there are some releases where all the cards that are generated for that character or along that champion's mechanics have stories that are interconnected and also art that's interconnected, which tells its own story. It's just not compiled as such. So we wanted to take it on ourselves with our experience of hundreds of episodes, right? To do that and see if it works out.
Hang on, let me kick some dirt off my shoulders. That's right. 100+ episodes. Yeah, we veterans in here.
So we start, and this is going to be a quicker one as well. We start with Vayne's level 1 card. And you can follow, we'll tell you what cards to look at if you want to see the art and the quotes, right? But we start with Vayne's art. And on this art, we can see the assembling of a team for what we know is going to be a hunt. And this is before the sun is setting, based on the scene. And in the scene, we get to see the character, the young recruit, and then also another character, which we'll get into as well, and a wolf dog who has her own name.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to get into the character of the wolf dog, and we are very excited to talk about all these characters because I know there's been countless times that we've said, you know, look at the art and check it out, but this time we're going to look at the art. We're going to check it out.
You're going to need to. It's required.
So it's kind of required for this one. But as far as the quote on the front side for Vayne's card is that our target was once human, which means it's smarter than your average beast. One wrong move could spell death for us all. Stay within eyesight of one another, call out anything suspicious, but above all else, remember. And the second side of the card is shoot to kill, which is, you know, just Vayne, but, you know.
It's the only thing she does.
But as far as the second side, like we don't get to, there's not much story building there, all right?
Yeah,
so
we'll come back to that one.
We'll come back.
Yeah. So essentially with this quote, she's telling them, it's a quick briefing, right? Here's the mission, here's the goal. And then this takes us to our next card, which is Zealous Ranger Knight. So Zealous Ranger Knight, in the art here, we see the hunt actually beginning, right? They're walking through the forest. This is when night falls. And you also see the knight holding a torch alongside his elk mount, and he's leading the way through the forest. And for this quote, we've referenced this in a previous episode, but we'll do so again. It says, Janin, was it? What can you tell me about Sirius? Oh, Ranger Knight Royal? A few years ago, he had his title revoked. Apparently, he willfully disregarded every order he was given. Seems he does whatever he wants and doesn't take no for an answer. Ah, so why did you let him join this hunt anyways? I didn't. Then why? Oh, right. Fantastic. So the hunt is beginning.
Yeah, and that, as far as like the card, the Zealous Ranger Knight, we do get a name. Like, this is Sirius, or
Yeah.
specifically Sirius Rowell, who was once a Ranger Knight. So that's the same company that Quinn serves under in Demacia.
Hmm.
And so it makes sense as far as with his art that he's the one kind of leading the rest of the followers, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm assuming, like, even though Vayne has assembled a team because she's acknowledged that she needs help, that she's still going to do her Batman thing of
Yeah.
like, I'll go this way, you guys stay together and just don't die, okay? I'm
Yeah.
not worried about me. I'm like not going to help you out that much,
Yeah,
you
if
know?
you've seen Batman working with the Justice League in any episode or comic, you get the vibes.
Yeah, you get the vibes indeed. Yeah, that's perfect. But that does really set the picture as far as for the card art that we have here, because of course, someone that used to serve in the same camp as Quinn, or essentially the Rangers, the Scouts of Demacia. Well, who else is going to lead the charge here? And if you try to point out someone else who's going to do it better, Sirius is just going to tell you no.
So we also get another name here, which is Janin, who is the huntress that's along with them. So we now have some characters assembling and we're getting some names. And this takes us to the next card, which is Kind Hearted Recruit. So in this art, we see another character, the recruit, and he's preparing to check inside of a house that they come across on this journey. And with the huntress and the ranger kind of backing him up, ready to see what happens once he goes through this door. So this ranger, he has, or this knight, he has a shield and sword. We're going to let him go first. He has the shield.
Yep. Hey, you got to have a point, man. All right, somebody's got to take point. But we have the quote here, and this one is from Sirius, who we just covered. He says that the boy is a liability. I was adamant he should not be taken along on our hunt, as still he refers to the foul creature as his sister. It is a naivete so profound, it is frankly revolting. Yet I suppose I do pity him well enough. At the very least, this will be an important lesson from him. And that is directly from Sirius's journal. So now we get to learn that, Janin is like, he's kind of green, right? Like, he's
Yep.
still clean behind the ears. But we also learned that he's connected to the monster they're hunting. Like, they're hunting his sister. And we kind of covered in Vayne's bios. I'm not going to go too deep. Go listen to those if you want me to go deeper in it. This isn't going to be a Disney story for poor Janin, I don't think. Like, because Vayne is not in the business of trying to cure the monstrosities. Like, there's only one cure, and that's removal.
So this takes us to the title character here, which is the Bloodcursed Harpy card. And this is art of the Harpy appearing in the middle and the group beginning to form around it to strike. And with this one, we get a name for the young knight, which is Kine. So it says, Kine, if you're reading this, I'm hopefully dead. I can't control what's happening to me. The blood under my nails won't wash off. I'm so itchy. I scratch and I scratch, but nothing helps. It hurts. I just want it to stop. If I'm still alive somehow, promise me you'll stop trying to find me. I would ask for forgiveness, but I don't deserve it. Be good to mother, okay? And this is from a crumpled letter found in a torn up satchel. So it's too late, right? We know it's too late, and we know that she was cursed reluctantly, and she being, now that we know, Kine's sister. And this fits what Vayne has talked about other monsters as well. Some that become monsters willingly, others not so much.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why that we do like to talk about the idea of learning more about these monsters, because, like, how is it that she turned? We don't know, but we know that it was against her will, right?
Yeah.
But there's still so many unknowns around the world of monsters, and of course there are going to be unknowns because you got to survive to tell people about it.
Yeah.
And we are getting to cover this story because Vayne is that good at her job. But that doesn't mean that she knows everything.
Exactly.
But that kind of takes us over to our next card. And
Yeah, the widowed huntress. So the fight begins. Introduction to Sakuga. The Huntress is the first one in there. She's the first to fight the Harpy, and the quote here kind of tells us about the reservations of the rest of the party with her doing this.
Yeah. And that quote is, though the woman seems a competent enough fighter, her grief is fresh and threatens to overwhelm her. Despair is indeed a compelling motivator, I should know, but unbridled so? Mayhap she is looking to die. And once again, that's from Sirius's journal, which I like. I am so thankful that Sirius is such a hard ass, because like he's giving us wonderful insights into these characters with just the most blunt descriptions.
But he's
where it's
also
like,
a
yeah.
Redditor because he said me haps. Like what?
Oh no! Hang on, and go to his art. Go to his art. He does have the hat. He's got the hat and the tip.
He has the hat.
My lady.
Yeah, so from this quote, we know that Janin recently lost her husband. And Sirius is kind of trying to question, why is she here, right? And this happens a lot when you see a ragtag group come together to take on something that, you know, they're risking their life for, but they don't really have a relationship, right? There's no relationship. Right. They all have their own baggage they're bringing.
Yeah, and I was gonna get the names mixed up earlier, but it is good as far as saying that, like, it makes sense that Janin would come in, and it's good to see that like they're taking in people that have a similar experience to Vayne here, because at the end of the day, like, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. So someone's going to have to take Vayne's place, like at some point in the future, or at least, you know, you got to prepare for that. So the Vayne, this is the only bit of humanity that we really see left in Vayne anymore, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you want vengeance? I guess I can put you to use.
So this takes us to our next card, which we get our animal friends introduced, which is the faithful wolf dog. So in this art, we see, so remember previously, Huntress went in first against the Harpy. We know the result of that based on this art is that she's wounded and during that encounter, and then her wolf dog gets in between her and the Harpy to hold it off. And we have a quote here. I've had Maggie since she was a pup. She may be long in the tooth, but she's still sharp as a fresh, whetted blade. I'd give my life for hers, and I know she'd give hers for mine. So now we know that Janin, recent widower, this is all she has, right? This is now her best friend. This is the entity she lives for, right? This is their relationship. And even though Sirius originally thought, you know, she's ready to throw everything away, we know now she does have something to live for and someone to live by.
Yeah, and frankly, Maggie is best girl.
Maggie is best girl.
Give her a scratch behind the ears. She's earned it.
Yeah. And then our next companion here is the steadfast Elkin, which we got a glimpse of at the beginning with Sirius. And in this art, we have Sirius riding, who we now have a name for, which is Purity. What a name. I told you he's a Redditor, right? I told you Sirius is a fucking Redditor.
Oh, this is too good.
Yeah, but he's riding Purity, and he gets in between Kine and the Harpy. So we have, you know, Wolf Dog getting in between Janin and the Harpy. So they're kind of getting back in order after this encounter, and they corner the Harpy. And then we have a quote here: "Back, foul creature. Rend even a single hair from Purity's immaculate coat, and I will see that you suffer an eternity of agony." I put a little spin on it. As his cape flutters in the wind. This guy, dude.
But I mean, like, this is like we're definitely getting closer to like the climax of this fight.
Yeah,
of course, because we now have Janin wounded, with Maggie coming between her and the Harpy, and now we have Sirius kind of coming in between the Harpy and Kine, and threatening the Harpy over Purity's coat. So, like, the bottom line, though, is that they have the Harpy cornered. The whole gang's there. So this is getting to the end of the show, I believe.
Yeah, and this moves into going back to Vayne and her level 2 side of the card. And the art's the most important thing here, because we already told you about the quote. And this is Vayne now stepping in to deliver the finishing blow. Sirius is watching, but Kine in the background of this art is turning his back because he doesn't want to see. Because you can see at this point, it fits Vayne's previous story so well that the monster's now scared. There's the human element of fear being shown, which once again Vayne feeds on. And then this ultimately leads to Condemned, which is her spell, which shows the final pulling of the bolt and it firing her purity shot through the Harpy to end it. And the
Yep.
quote here is simply purifying bolts.
Yep, and now you can appreciate the art on the flip side of Vayne's card a lot more because you do understand as far as like why is someone not watching as Vayne puts a killing blow on this monster they've been hunting because that's kind. And now we also know what Vayne's holding. Because if you didn't go through all these cards, Vayne's just kind of holding a piece of paper, but that's the letter
Yep.
from Kind's sister
And it's crumpled.
before she was finally, turned full Harpy. And like Vayne, of course, is like, okay, nice letter, don't care. Condemn. Like that. And so like we now can appreciate not only that art but like the whole big picture a lot more when we put all of these pieces together. But of course, this is kind of more just what are doing. Like there's not really like a story or anything to go off of here. We're just going off of what was given to us and extrapolating from there.
Yeah, so we hoped you liked it. This is the Casuals of Runeterra rendition of Hunt for the Bloodcursed Harpy. Tell your friends. If you were confused because you can't find the story, it doesn't exist. We just did it. We just made it. So
That's right.
Or we innovated on what was given to us. So we hope you like that. We're keeping this one short. So thanks for listening. And we'll be back soon with a normal episode.
And hit us up at podcastcore@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Or on the social medias. Let us know if you like this because we had a lot of fun putting it together. But otherwise, take care, everybody.